America, my name is Osei-Frimpong, and I was just thinking that there may be no Negro in America, in this entire nation, as extraneous as Hakeem Jeffries right now. When I mean the extraneous Negro, I'm talking about the guy in the Capitol building who cleans the baseboards once a week or waxes the floor, has a more meaningful job in these United States than Hakeem Jeffries. He is the House Minority Leader. He is a House Minority Leader without a house. He's like a house Negro whose owners were kicked out of the house. Right now he's, I guess, on the steps of the Congress having a powwow. And this man, not only does he not have any power, because you can have power without having a recognized role if you have a voice, but he has no voice. So he was anointed for this position because of his willingness to do what his corporate backers want him to do, but his corporate backers are talking amongst themselves about what they want him to do. And he's just twiddling his thumb because he didn't get the job because he has an idea of his own. This man has no political vision of his own. What he has is ambition to be a high carrot house Negro. And that's what he is for the Democratic Party, except the Democratic Party doesn't need one anymore. So he's just sitting out there, and there's a saying he's just sitting out there in the wind, holding his member. He's just... He is just sitting out there without anything to say and without anything to do because he's not empowered by his own conscience to actually make a decision on his own. Right? Don't expect him to actually make a decision on his own. He's got bills to pay and mortgages and probably real estate ventures and aspirations, and his entire job is to be the mouthpiece of his backers. And his backers are figuring out what they want him to do. So it's not as if you can expect any sort of real leadership out of this House leader. Now, contrast this with Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi actually had a mind of her own. She would actually be in the rooms and say stuff. Even if you don't believe in her political vision came from herself. She decided who was president and who was not. She's the one who picked off Joe Biden. Hakeem Jeffries couldn't pick off Joe Biden. Hakeem Jeffries, he wouldn't have the temerity, he wouldn't have the sense of anything to actually say no to Joe Biden or try to push him off. Now, I'm not a fan of the way Nancy Pelosi pushed off Joe Biden, but that was an exercise of power. That was a power grab. That was an exercise of power that Pelosi moved, saying, I don't want you to be the Democratic nominee. I want you to be the Democratic nominee. And Pelosi just did that. Hakeem Jeffries is not going to do anything. That's not his role. He is not that Negro. He is, it's not where you're from, it's where you're at. Yeah, he is the non-dream politician. Now, and it's funny because I was trying to figure out, could I think of a more extraneous Negro than Hakeem Jeffries right now? And so I Googled Hakeem Jeffries to find a picture. And would you believe I found a picture of 3 of them? Hakeem Jeffries next to Reverend Dr. Barber, next to Cory Booker. None of them were worthwhile. And I already did an interview years ago about how Barber is making a sham out of the Poor People's Campaign because he's just a functionary of the Democratic Party, which is itself not really serious about like securing people good jobs at fair wages or making the United States a little bit more democratic, right? So Barber is already a sham for a variety of reasons. These are all people picked by white ladies who are not in this picture. And these are all people calibrated for making white ladies comfortable because those are the ones who really matter. The anti-dream team. These 3 extraneous Negroes. 3 extraneous Negroes. Hakeem Jeffries, Dr. Barber, and Cory Booker. Cory Booker talked 25 hours about nothing. He would have done better reading from Mercer Baradoran's book and just read that for 25 hours. But that might make some of his white donors nervous. So they are just the house Negroes without a house. House Negroes whose owners were kicked out. And there they said, like, well, you just wait a while out there while you just wait a while out there while we figure out inside the house, inside our rented house, what we're going to do, right? So the real power brokers are out there. Democrats are out there plotting a next move, whatever that next move could be, to distract Americans for the fact that the Democratic Party is kind of worthless. And these guys aren't even in that room. They don't even have power in that room. They might let them sit there and take notes, but for the most part, when they're actually thinking and actually coming up with a plan, those guys are out of the room. And then they're brought in, and then they're told to execute the plan. They're not even in brainstorming sessions. You don't need Hakeem Jeffries in a brainstorming session because he's not there for his political brain. You don't even need Cory Booker or Reverend Barber for the political for a brainstorming session. What are you going to hear? So I'm looking at the chat right now, and people want me to do a show on Shedura Sanders. Yeah, a draft story. I could do a story on that. I was thinking I was gonna do a story on like what I saw at my youth track meet. My kids were at the state last weekend, and my daughter oldest won the 2 mile. My middle daughter won the 2 mile, and my 7-year-old. My oldest is 12. She won the 2 mile, won her 2 mile. And my middle daughter is 10 and, state champion, won her 2 mile. Now, my 7-year-old is, he's the one who at 7 years old ran a 5:54 mile. He came so close in the 800. He lost his 800 at 244.6 and the winner won 244.7. And I just had him in regular shoes. I should have had him in track shoes. I just, we're kind of a distance family, so I didn't really get the newest shoes. But I feel like for 0.2 seconds, I kind of fumbled as a father. For 8U at the state level, they don't have a mile. If it was a mile, he would have run away with them. The closest was the 800, and it was such a good race. Hey, here he is. I was just telling him about your race. You lost it. Hey, kiddo. Hey, come on, say hi to the people. Say hi, people.
Hi.
Hold on. Yeah, my background. You got the background. Now, come on. Oh, all right, now, wait.
Hi.
Hi. So how fast did you run a mile 2 weeks ago?
5:54.
5:54. And how was state?
Good.
Yeah, it was the closest of the closest race. And if it was just a little bit, longer, I think you would have caught him. I think you would have caught him. All right, so let me finish my show, and I'll be right upstairs with you. Okay? You're saying hi to the people. Hi, people. All right. And he also, if you don't know, he has the state record in cross country for the 2K. And you think you're going to break it again, aren't you? Yeah. I am. He is.
I'm going to break my own state record.
He's going to break his own state record because he's still in the same age division, the 8U, 8 under. So he's going to break it. And you're going to break it so much that it's going to be a while before anybody can, even come close to it. How's that? Good. All right. Let me finish this show. And what's up? We have packages? Yeah, you can open the packages. All right. Oh, you're welcome. All right. So, see you in a few minutes. All right. That is, so that's my kid. I'll do, if you want, I can do a show about how I train him. But yeah, we train as a family. And my oldest daughter won the 2 mile because they do 2 miles for the 12, she's 13, 14. And my daughter who's in the 11-12 age range, although she is 10, except she has a Christmas Day birthday, and it's a calendar year, so she's like the youngest person in her age bracket. But yeah, she won the 2 mile. And then if there was a mile, he would have won it, but we just had the 800, and he lost by 0.2 seconds. It was a race. Man, it was a race. 0.2 seconds over 800. And if it was just a little bit longer, he would have caught up. Or if I had, maybe gotten him track shoes. All right. So Hakeem Jeffries as an extraneous Negro. And that's just the truth. He is. Like, he's extra. He can't do anything. He doesn't have the sovereign mind to actually come up with any ideas. He doesn't really care about governance. Like, he's an empty shirt. And I should actually I'll do a different show about why black people in his positions are kind of structured to be extraneous. You promote a quality of extraneous guy, and then it turns out that he is actually extraneous. He's just extra. There's no need for him. And then he doesn't have the character to actually come up with an idea. A good friend was talking about time she was working in, the story's not public. Time she was working in DC, and there was another extraneous Negro running around, and his name, would you believe, was Maynard Jackson. Maynard Jackson ended his career, his sweetheart job with the DNC, and there was really nothing for him to do. There was no real relevant, because I think it was like kind of a fundraising thing, but if you're a fundraiser for black people, we don't really have the funds anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So like he would just kind of walk around, kind of pop in the meetings, but like nobody really gave him any mind or actually gave him that much respect, because they knew that he didn't have any real juice and he was just an extraneous Negro. And that is Hakeem Jeffries right now. You're just an extraneous Negro. Or if Cory Booker walked in, I have nothing to say to him. I would like, get out of my way, Cory. You can't do anything for me. Because anything that I need Cory Booker to do for me would tick off his bosses, and I know Cory Booker is not built for the kind of person to tick off his bosses. So, and the same with Evan Barber. So, yeah, like I said, this is three blind mice, or three extraneous Negroes. Three guys with the semblance of power, but no real power, because they don't have any sort of character to buck the trend, and they are just kind of extra for the project of democratic governance, for the project of actually progressing this democracy, insofar as we want to call it one. So what I want you to do is, if you appreciate me talking like this, and I think you should, and you want to hear more about my kids' exploits, go ahead and go to www.funkyacademic.com, kick in $5, $15, or $50 a month, because that's how I get, track shoes for the kids and all of that. That's how we keep up this wonderful show we have right here. This is how I pay my daily bread. And I'm not going to sell you out to DraftKings or Underdog Sports or sports betting. No. You're going to get it straight from me to you. And that's going to happen if you go to www.funkyacademic.com. I read that book, The Three Extraneous Negroes. They are. I like Barbara. These guys, they are like, they're just extra. What juice is in this picture? You would think they'd have juice because they all have access to microphones, but they all have given assurances, almost blood oaths, to their donors that they would never actually say anything truly revolutionary in that microphone, right? So it's why I even give those guys a microphone. Like I said, the person cleaning the baseboards in the Capitol building has more power in the Capitol building than Hakeem Jeffries. That's a guy who will do what he's told, except right now, the people who usually give him orders have said, just wait and hush, or just wait and fill time. But don't say anything. So he's just an extraneous Negro. And I think we're actually positioned, and I will do a show on just how that's just a position of power broker blacks in America. When you're in Trump's America, where you're out of power, the liberals have lost power. Nobody needs to be nice to us. So what are you going to do? And doing things takes courage. So are you willing to actually tick off? Who are you willing to tick off? Right? So, those three extraneous Negroes, I wouldn't be surprised if all of them have mortgages that they still need to pay off, right? All of them have not just portfolios to grow. Cory Booker doesn't even have any kids, so like who knows what he's trying to make money for. But I wouldn't be surprised if they have mortgages to pay off and debts. And as soon as you have debts to pay off, you're not free anymore. Now I'm about 5 years away from paying off my house here, and that'll be a nice day. By the way, I think I could pay it off faster if you go to www.funkyacademic.com. Actually, that money would probably I'd plow into other places. But go to www.funkyacademic.com, kick in $5, $15, or $50 a month, and I'll keep giving you the quality of show that you need, that you didn't know you need, but you need it. You know you need. Like there is no better way to describe Hakeem Jeffries. The man has no juice. He is less free than I am and less powerful. At least I can say what I want in public. He's so neutered that I don't even know if he wants anything. I don't know if he has a capacity, or is that part of his brain just been lobotomized by the donor checks and like the responsibility to keep. I don't even know if he has the capacity to think, or if that's been bought out, if he's gone. Like I wouldn't want a conversation with him, or I might want everything I need to know from Hakeem Jeffries. I could probably suss out in 15 seconds of a conversation with him, because either he still can think and is scared to, or he just can't think anymore. And I think it's the latter. I think this guy is just out of ideas and wouldn't even know where to start if he actually had to come up with an original one about how to improve the nation that wasn't just like sent over in the talking points in his email. Booker and Sharp. Yeah, I guess I could talk about Shannon Sharp. I could talk about so much in black media. It's like all of these places where the wrong people told you that those are the black people to look up to. Either in this space or to get ahead. These are not the black people. These are not the droids you were looking for. These are not the black people you want, right? Like Shannon Sharp has always been not the sharpest tool in the shed, and that's why he was promoted the way he was, right? I mean, as a man who likes sex, even I wouldn't be able to suffer a 19-year-old. And that's who he's dating, because that's where his capacity is. So, yeah, someone wants to talk to me about the Carmelo Anthony incident. Carmelo with a K. I don't know. I would. Okay, so I will tell you something that's a little bit awful. In my lizard brain, the worst part, I would, if I were like the worst human, I had so much fun at my kid's track meet. There would be there's a betting opportunity there. The way you get these parents like cheering for their kids, like if they it would only sweeten the money to put some money on it. It's awful. It's an awful thing to say and do, but yeah, I could totally see in a darker world, a youth sports betting market at the track meet as these kids are running down on a 9-year-old 50-meter dash. Because all the parents kind of know all of the times, and they, so it's got, and I know all of the other kids, so I would actually be a pretty good odds maker. But one, I'm not a huge fan of sports betting. Two, it's like sports betting on 10-year-olds, on 9-year-olds. That would be not the greatest calling, considering I don't even take those kind of sponsorships for this show. But yeah, I'm going to talk about youth sports in a different show. I will not probably talk about Carmelo Anthony, but I will do a Shannon Sharp show, because I think it's kind of a fascinating thing that happened. And what was the other show someone mentioned? Not the the anti-dream team of Hakeem Jeffries and Cory Booker and this is the wrong kind of Three Musketeers. This is more like not Three Musketeers, more like Three Stooges. Except everyone's curly. Maybe the wrong kind of Three Stooges. Like the anti-Three Musketeers, the gang who can't shoot straight. This is not someone you want. This is not the revolution you want, right? Led by these three. Yeah, that's just not true. And that's just how it is. So how about a critique of Sinners? Everyone loves Sinners, and it looks like It looks like From Dusk to Dawn, except a little bit better in black. I don't know if it's that deep of a movie. It looks like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just like, I mean, it looks cool, kind of. I think I'd rather do a critique of Andor. But, yeah, it looks, yeah, it's, if you, yeah, so it looks like From Dusk Till Dawn, which I liked. Two different movies, like, immediately flipped into another movie. But, like, yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn, except black, which is fine. But I don't need to do a review of it. And that's all you need to know. Like, Hakeem Jeffries is an extraneous Negro, and he is a part of a class. And I'll do I'm going to do some deep diving once I do a thinking of that entire class. Kamala Harris, people who are black and promoted for not having any ideas, and then that's fine when you're in power, kind of, because the people with ideas are feeding you the ideas. But then when you're out of power but still in the limelight and you don't have any ideas, you're just kind of useless, right? And I might do a show on Michelle Obama, except I'll get a lot of black women hate because Michelle Obama is having a podcast and she's having some unscripted moments because nobody actually listened to what she had to say. And it turns out that, like, she is not the one, people. She was never the one. She was never the one. She's got a whole lot of bad ideas about a lot of bad things. And she has always had a lot of bad ideas about a lot of bad things. She just kept them under wraps. But now she's free. And you're realizing that you dodged a bullet by not marrying her. Or for those at home who did end up marrying a Michelle Obama type, I know you're divorced. Or maybe you're mute. And if you're mute, you're not listening to this out loud. You got your headphones, and because your wife does not like me, so you got your headphones, and you're either in your car or maybe you don't have headphones in your car, but you're like hidden in a room because, yeah, that's like Michelle Obama and her podcast is showing that she was not the one you thought she was, but I suspected that she was. Yeah, so that's it. Take care. If there's nothing else in chat, I'm going to, yes, I would bet on the gorilla, the 100 people, especially if they're 100 people with bare hands and no like implements, even if it's 100 people with butter knives. I don't know. You got to get close to that gorilla's eye. Cause they are very strong. I'm betting on the gorilla. 100 of me couldn't take them. Like even like I wouldn't be able to puncture anything. Like, yeah. All right. Peace. Yeah, I mean, someone said count to 100. That's a big number. That's true, but you'd have to stack on him and hope to smother him. And by the time the gorilla's smothered, like everyone else is smothered too. So I just don't. I don't know.